Hello, my name's Phil Haygarth, and it's a pleasure for me to be giving you this LEC 101 lecture towards a sustainable global phosphorus cycle and the future of life on Earth. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to, Prof P Haygarth, and particularly draw you to my landwaterblog.blogspot.com if you want to follow me. So here we are in the journey of 101. We're through now here at lecture number 33, week starting the 22nd of February. Goodness me, how time flies. And how timely is this? I've just actually published a book which I've just received today in my house. It arrived from the publisher today. How amazing is that? And we're having the book launch of that book, which underpins the whole lecture. How fortuitous is this during the week of this lecture on 101? That is amazing, isn't it? So I'm really going to recommend that you check this book out. We're going to order it for the library. It's due to be released in just at the beginning of March, so you should be able to get copies soon after if you want to do some revision. And if you go to the LEC News website and search on the latest newsreel, Phosphor Heaven or Phosphorgeddon, and click on the webinar link, you need to register in advance for the actual book launch event, which is at 16:30 in the afternoon on Tuesday this week of the lecture. That's the 23rd of the 2nd of February 2021. So hope to see you some of there at the live event with my co-author Jim Elsa, who's from Montana. So to the actual lecture itself, we're going to be dealing with 4 basic components. It's a research level lecture, so I'm going to go quite fast. I'm giving you quite a lot of information, but you are scholars for a degree, so that's okay. And I'm going to, that's all right. You can stop the lecture, you can pause, you can rewind, you can stop and make notes and so on and so forth. And I'll give you copies of the slides as well. So hopefully that should work quite well for you. Four components. Why is phosphorus important? Soil to plant mobilisation of phosphorus, transfers of phosphorus to water, and then this kind of question about an accelerating phosphorus cycle, and then we'll leave with some reflection on sustainable phosphorus itself. So to the first part, why is phosphorus important? What is it and what is it? Well, phosphorus underpins our civilization as a nutrient that drives food production and biological life, providing the building blocks for our DNA. You can see that it comes in a kind of rock form here in the slide. There's various forms of phosphate. It plays an essential role in agriculture and for all forms of life on Earth, for respiration, for photosynthesis in green leaves, microbial turnover, decomposing litter. These all require adequate levels of phosphorus in specialised forms. And in particular, agricultural cropping systems, adequate supplies of phosphorus are essential for seed formation, root formation, crop quality and strength, the strength of straw in cereals, and the accumulation and release of energy during cellular metabolism. And here's a photograph from the book. And it's the disturbing effects, a kind of a slightly it's not exaggerated. It's a cartoon, but it shows the effect that low phosphorus and phosphorus sufficiency has on the development of chickens. It helps with bone growth and so on and so forth, and just is a very striking image of its importance for us and all our development as organisms on the planet. I'm not going to go through these YouTube videos. Just a reminder, there are some films which Emma has uploaded onto the Moodle site for you. In fact, there's actually 4 films by memory that I've given her. This is one of them. This is just a series of kind of experts saying why phosphorus is important. There's a really neat one which is led by the Refocus team where I'm just the invited narrator talking, and there are loads of people telling us about the importance of phosphorus. There's a little cartoon film and so on. So hopefully there's some quite nice video material actually, which should be very helpful, and I really recommend that you look at those as well as the book and other stuff too. So another way of reiterating these issues about importance. Phosphorus is part of plant physiology, our DNA and our RNA. It's in energy transfer molecules, ATP and ADP. It's part of phospholipids. It's part of molecular signalling with inositol phosphates, which are really big organic compounds of phosphate, and it's important for proteins. So let's have a look at the actual picture. We've got to do that if we're doing chemistry. Here it is in group 15 here, next to sulfur and below nitrogen, above arsenic, and so on. If for those chemists on the course, really is that the Earth has been around for 4.5 billion years or something like that, give or take a little, and it's only really 100 years or so ago that we started doing this, which, as you can see here, which is the removal of phosphate rock from phosphate-rich ores derived from the mineral apatite, different parts of the Earth, and we mine it, and then we distribute it all over the spot, which I'll tell you more about as we go through the lecture. So unlike the nitrogen cycle, there is no Haber-Bosch, which means there is no way of fixing it from the atmosphere because it doesn't have an atmospheric component. We mine phosphorus from rare phosphorus-rich sedimentary rocks, as I said, in few locations around the world, and we distribute it all over the world as fertilizer. Okay, and that's basically what's happens. And basically, this started happening around about 100 years or so ago, a little bit less. And so this is just a phosphorus purification, phosphorus ore mining site in China near Kunming, which I visited a few years ago, and just to give you a sense of the industry involved in not the production of phosphorus. Phosphorus isn't produced; it's an element of the earth, but of the mining of phosphorus and the refining of it and production of it as a fertilizer in itself. So this figure, which is taken from figure 5.3 in the book of Elsa and Haygarth, it's the historical change in the use of various forms of phosphorus through time. But you can see that really historically around about 100 years or so ago, just after the Second World War in 1945, 1950 or so, there was a big increase in the use of phosphate rock, and therefore in the mining of phosphate rock for production and use in agriculture. And prior to that, really, there'd just been the uses of guano, which is so small you can't see it here in the yellow here. There's guano, which is basically bird dung, which basically concentrates phosphorus. Human excreta has been used in the past, and animal manure is also high in phosphorus. So historically, these forms were important and have been important, but more recently, of course, phosphate rock has taken over as humans have mined it and released it out all around the Earth system. So that's the first bit. What is phosphorus and why is it important? So now to the next bit, soil to plant mobilisation of phosphorus.